Yes, yes, yeah. You are tuned in to Offering Something. I am your host, Michael Bernier. Feeling so good to be alive. Thank y'all for being here with us today. We appreciate you. That's the truth. Offering Something brought to you by our super sweet support system at Enjoy Your Life brand. Everything at Enjoy Your Life brand by the Higher Education Music and Arts Festival and by Riverwalk Brewing Company. Yeah.
Cheers, Riverwalk.
If you're watching on YouTube, click on that subscribe button. Hit the notifications bell. I love you, love you, love you for that. Yeah, we have an anthem of an episode ready to crank for you today with a guest who is a musician, an artist, a world-famous rock star, a Billboard chart topper, a bass boss, a showman, a now frontman and lead singer, a humble human with a little touch of wild who is infinitely offering something. It's my pleasure to introduce Pat Badger.
Wait, who? You're talking about
Extreme.
You're talking about me? You were giving me that intro. I'm like, wait, who are you talking about? When's this guy showing up here? Huh?
That's you, rock star.
How you doing, brother?
Oh, man, I'm feeling great. Happy to be in the room with you.
Yeah, I'm psyched to be here, man. It's
Thank you.
First time I've been out of the house in about a year.
About an hour. Yeah. So when did it all begin? The first moment that you picked up a guitar or picked up a stringed instrument and unknowingly were led to seeing the entire world and landing where we are now.
You know, it all started for me when I was a little kid. My older brother played. He's 4 years older than me. My brother Jim.
Hey, Jim.
Yeah, hey Jim. And he always played classic rock around the house. He played acoustic guitar and sang.
Yep.
I was exposed to music at a very young age, and they tell me, you know, I used to sit on the freaking potty when I was a little kid singing Yellow Submarine, right? But in tune. Like I just had I was around music when I was a kid, and I'd sing along to the songs. Yeah. I remember, you know, I couldn't wait to get home from school and watch the Monkees every day.
Watch the Monkees and go sing with your brother Jim.
Yeah, and so it all began like when I was a young kid. Then I got, you know, obviously in like middle school or whatever, or in elementary school, grade school, I guess you'd call it.
Whatever it is,
know,
yes.
I was into all, you know, I got into all the British invasion bands, you know, the Beatles, Stones, Who, all that stuff.
Right.
And then, you know, I had a neighbor who like turned me on to Zeppelin and Kiss, Cheap Trick, and all those bands.
Yeah.
And I just like, you know, I just was always around rock music. And, you know, I'd learn how to play a few chords on my brother's guitar.
Okay.
But it wasn't until I was like in middle school. That's when it really happened for like
what
picking
happened?
up the bass. So there
you
was
bought a bass? You got a bass? You acquired a bass?
There was some guys like in a local little, you know, garage band. They were my high school buddies. And they're like, you know, we need a bass player. I go, I don't know. I'll learn how to play bass so I can be in the band. I mean, what was cooler than being in like a band?
Give me those buddies' names. What are their names?
So the singer was a guy named Rob Santos.
Robbie Santos.
Chris Torres was the drummer, and then a Vietnamese guy named An Nguyen.
Wow, it's close to annoying.
And I remember like the first song I played with them was. It was a
cover band? Is this a cover band situation? All covers. What was the first song? Tool?
No, back in those days, we played like Walking the Dog, you know.
Okay, yeah.
But, you know, the Aerosmith version, not the Rat version.
All right. Wow.
And, you know, songs like some Alice Cooper stuff. I'm 18. You know, 'cause at the time we were only 14. We're like, oh, wouldn't it be cool to be 18? Let's sing 18.
If I was 18, I'd be crushing everything.
We do like the Doors.
Did that band have a name?
That band, no, we never really had a name.
Never had a name. Did it ever leave the Was it actually rehearsing in a garage?
Yeah,
Were there posters on the wall?
Anytime we'd play in the garage, the neighbors would call the cops. But we had another friend who had a basement, and we'd go play in the basement. No one would bother us.
No cops when you play in the basement.
No, yeah. So, but we'd kind of like cycle through all our houses because there's only so much our parents would tolerate. You know, they're like, no, you got to go play at the other guy's house next week. You can't play here again.
Hold
we
on
were
a
terrible,
second.
but it was fun.
What city and state were you in when you first came out of your mom's belly?
Oh, so I was born down in Boston, actually. I was
Boston,
born in
Massachusetts.
I was born in Dorchester, but my parents lived down the South Shore. They lived like in Scituate at the time.
Yeah.
So my dad
That's
got my
much
mom
different
in
than
the
Dorchester.
Car. They
Yeah.
got her to whatever St. Margaret's Hospital in Dorchester.
Right.
And he dropped her off with the suitcase. Those were the days where you couldn't be in the room. You know, like
That's what happened.
You drop your wife off with the suitcase. And
Where
then
does he go? Back home?
Home and watch the friggin' Johnny Carson show.
Come on.
That's what they used to do. I mean, I was born in 1967. It wasn't no like the husband doing like Le Mans classes with the wives and stuff. It would be like drop her off with the suitcase. She goes and has the baby.
Hit me up when he's out here.
When he's out.
Everything's
I can
good.
come see him.
So anyhow, that was Boston. So you actually, I'm sorry, that was Dorchester Hospital. We're living in Scituate, and
At
that's
the
where
time,
the band,
yeah.
the high school band,
No,
the grade school.
I had moved like up to a town called Winchester. I don't know if you
Winchester?
know where that is. Yeah, Winchester,
I
Mass.
see there's a sign on the highway, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That town's changed a lot. It's all yuppie, like kind of crazy money. Like I don't even.
Was it more aggressive when you were there?
No, it was more low key though. It's kind of like how like Newburyport in the 70s is not what it is Newburyport in 2000.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
We got soft over here, boy.
Oh, it's just like, all the money rolls in and like suddenly there's a Starbucks and there's
It's really nice.
It's a beautiful, I love this town. I spend more time here than I spend where I actually live in West Newbury down the road. But yeah, so that's where it started, my band thing, and it's just like everyone else, like in a little basement band with your buddies.
So from the basement band with the buddies that has no name to taking on and over the universe with Extreme, how many bands in between age 14 and when things popped off you with Extreme?
I had the little band there in and then
what little band? That little band.
Yeah,
okay.
that little band.
Yeah.
And then I moved to Texas in
You
high
went
school.
to Texas?
I moved to Texas in high school. So
why are you in Texas?
My dad was a project manager, like he's an engineer.
The project went to Texas.
And
you went with the project.
Yeah, we have like this big like oil refinery thing we need to build, and we need you to are you willing to relocate your family?
We're going to need you to be there.
So it was a year and a half, and I went I literally like halfway through my sophomore high school year, I left Winchester and went to Texas.
Wow.
And what a culture shock that was, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I did a lot of growing up in Texas,
crew,
and I learned how to drive a car.
In Texas?
Yeah. Had my first girlfriend.
In Texas? What's that now? 16, 15?
Yeah.
17?
I guess however old you are when you're, when you're sophomore, junior in high school. And then I moved back so I had a little band. I was like miserable. When I first got to Texas, I'm like, I want to move home. I don't know anyone here. I'm like literally.
You were that kid. You're in the house going, Ma, I want to go back.
Yeah.
I hate
all my
you.
friends
I
are in
hate you.
Massachusetts. I don't want to be here. I go to the lunchroom. I don't know a soul. I'm sitting there eating lunch by myself. It was like pathetic, right?
And like, make some friends, Patrick.
And I was always
you're like,
I was always kind of a shy guy, right?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry,
and then
shy guy.
I found some guys that had a band.
Whoa.
And I'm like, well, I play bass.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, I got like a bazillion friends because everyone's
there
like,
oh, this cool guy in the band.
The guy in the band, yeah. So,
did that band have a name? Texas
that band did. It was called Zane Grey.
Zane Grey. Is that an individual's name, or is that just
actually an author? And
Okay.
I don't know which guy in my high school came up with the name. It was kind of like, but
do you support Zane Grey in hindsight? Are you familiar with Zane Grey's works?
I've never read a Zane Grey thing in my
What kind of music
life.
was Zane Grey band
that was
creating?
Also like cover tunes.
Cover.
By that
Where
time,
in Texas? Texas
so
is
I was
big.
in Houston. Yeah. We'd go to the beach down Galveston. Which even that was like a culture shock. Like we're used to these nice little New England
I
beaches.
can't even associate
Galveston is like
Texas
you
and
drive
beach.
your car in, and it's this huge like sand parking lot, and it's like tailgating at the beach. Like everyone's drinking and partying, but hanging out at your car on the beach. You know, it's a whole different thing than our little little Ipswich, little beach here. It wasn't like going to Winchester or something. You know?
Winchester. So you leave Texas.
Yeah.
You had it. It turned out all right. It was all right.
Made a lot of friends.
Yeah,
Still
you like
have
it.
friends
From
to this
that
day.
time.
From that time,
Wow, that's beautiful.
Kept in touch.
Yeah.
Of course, with the beauty of the internet, anyone
Yes,
can
that's
find
easy.
you or get a hold of you and say, "Hey, remember me? I used to go to high school with you." And you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, I remember."
So you go from Texas and then you shift back
to Winchester.
Winchester.
Came right back. Yeah.
Okay.
When I first got to Texas, everyone would tell me they wanted me to talk because they wanted to hear my Boston accent.
Oh.
When I come back to Boston, everyone's like,
What
I want to hear you
happened, bro?
talk. You talk like a Texan now. It's like
You
that
all
quick,
right?
like in an hour, in a year and a half, and you don't notice it yourself.
Yeah.
So now I don't feel like I have the strong Boston accent now. I think I eliminated it when
Something's a little different with your presentation of words.
Really?
Yeah, something.
Maybe that's, I don't know. That's the
You were
southern in me
molded
or
by
something. I don't know.
You got a little Texan in you.
Yeah. So
So you're back in Winchester.
then I had another
with the
band.
music?
So then at that point, I met these guys down in Boston. I used to go into the music stores like Wurlitzer, LaSalle Music.
Yep.
They're all down like Mass Ave, Boylston Street, down near Berkeley.
You just drive down to Boston and go to the music stores.
Yeah, want to go. You know how it is.
Yeah, of
you
course.
Want to just be around.
Music. And
Yeah,
like that was how you did it
amplifiers,
then.
guitars.
Yeah.
Go, oh my god! It's not like you'd look at the Sears catalog and get a hard on. You'd be like, I want to go into Boston, go check out, pick up, different guitars and torture everybody in there. So I met a guy that was working there. Was a drummer, and he's like, hey, we just like hit it off. And he's like, hey, you want to come down and jam sometime? And so here I was in senior year in high school, joined a band, and it was also originals, and the band was called Damon.
Damon.
Daemon. And it was kind of like, we were into metal, like
Full on metal.
bands like Dio.
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
Scorpions, Def Leppard, like that kind of,
that kind of
metal stuff.
Constant distortion.
Yeah, and so we were like,
still pop element.
but we were doing originals, and here I was in high school, but I was like playing places like the Channel and the Paradise.
Yeah.
And at that time too, in high school.
Oh, were the other guys the same age that were in the band?
Yeah, we were all like,
18.
right around the same age. Yeah. So we would like, I wasn't even able to go to these clubs without a fake ID, but you're there playing, and there's people, you're just they kind of look the other way.
Of course, yeah, been there many a times. Yeah.
And so that was a fun time. And then right around that time, when I moved back from Texas, I don't know if you're into the band Yes. Not really. You know who they are.
Wouldn't say into, but yes, I am familiar with Yes.
So at the time when I was in high school, there was their biggest, like, kind of their poppiest hit was "Owner of a Lonely Heart."
Yeah, it's a great song.
Great song.
Now
so,
I like them more than I did before.
Yeah. So Chris Squire is a bass player, one of my favorites. Like, the guy was a monster bass player, and like really approached the bass more like a lead instrument kind of thing. Very.
I'm smiling because I'm running
parts.
over how like that song is like one of the best songs I've ever carry on.
So I remember being in Texas, and I was always a Rickenbacker player, like because of Chris Squire, because of Geddy Lee from Rush.
Yep.
I was like into Rickenbacker basses. And so Yes puts out this video for Owner of a Lonely Heart, and there's this weird green shaped like S, like had Chris's like, his initials kind of in the guitar. And I'm like, what is that bass? That thing's like, I've never seen something like that. So I moved back to Winchester, and one of my buddies, says, the guy that built that guitar, the bass that Chris is playing, he made it right here in Winchester.
Come on,
I'm like,
come on. I gotta get mine.
How can this be possible, right? So I'm like, after school one day, I sought out where the guitar shop was. It was a little room, probably like the size of that, or maybe like 2 or 3 times the size of this room.
Yeah.
you walk in, and it was like a little Geppetto's workshop. Guitars hanging, there's like body parts, electronics. It was just like a little like guitar part candy store.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, this is like the coolest place I've ever, And the guys there were just so cool to me. And the guys, Jim Meradian is his name.
Oh.
And he built
Jim Meradian.
So you probably know his son JT, which we're going to give him a big shout out.
Love JT.
Love
and
JT.
To make that even more special, his cousin family are next door to the studio. They're the next building.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a small world. Yeah.
So that's they're
and
nice people. Yeah.
Yeah, so JT and his younger brother, John, who we used to call Boof, we still call him Boof.
Boof.
He's Boof, but he's like 40-something years old.
Yeah.
But so Jim and his partner at the time, I used to go there like every day after school, just because it was like on my way home from my high school to walk home. I'd stop at the guitar shop and just hang out. And
can we help you with anything? You're like, no.
Well, they weren't like selling, like they do custom stuff. It was more of a repair shop, really. Yeah. But they were building custom guitars, and he had his own line.
So they enjoyed your presence there, soaking up the vibe. They were like,
and
this is nice.
I got my guts up one day. I go, I'm kind of looking for a job. Would you guys be, can I work here? And they were like, we really like you, and you seem like a good guy, and so we'll give it a shot. We'll teach you how to paint and buff out guitars and do that kind of stuff.
Wow.
So the next thing you know, like my daily trip after school would be to work at the custom guitar shop.
Wow.
And so this went on for like a few months while then I graduated high school. I went to Berkeley Music School for one semester, which is still...
You just let a little Boston out right there, one semester.
Yeah. So the funny thing is I've seen myself, and at one semester, right, I've seen myself on the who's who list of people who've been to Berkeley, which is like hysterical.
That's what you get for being a superstorm, though. Everybody's going to claim you.
I don't know. Anyway, it's kind of funny. So I was working at the guitar shop. I was going to Berkeley for a while, and then one day, a guy walks into the guitar shop to have his guitar worked on.
Yeah.
And literally brought a brand new Charvel Jackson fancy guitar. Asked Jim Meradian, can you he was a smaller guy. He goes, we're gonna put a line around the guitar, and can you cut this guitar on the bandsaw to make it smaller, a smaller body, because the Strat looked kind of big on it.
Yeah.
It was Nuno, the guitar player of Extreme.
Okay.
So he used to come in to have
I'm
guitars.
so slim. Yeah.
He's still small, thin guy. So Jim Meradian cut his guitar, which ended up being like a prototype for his Washburn guitars that he has sold a gazillion of over the years. But that's how I ended up in Extreme, literally right out of high school. I graduated high school in '85. I joined Extreme in '86. We had a record deal in 1987.
Oh my golly!
And then I was touring the world by 1989. So it was kind of like it happened real quick, right out of high school.
Let's slow it down a little bit here.
Yeah, that's like those athletes getting drafted out of high school and playing in the NBA.
There's got to be a little story in there somewhere, though. So you join the band. There's some time that passes before you are out there in the world. So let's talk about Boston. Must have been the home base, right?
Yep.
Okay. So there was a point where you guys were hustling in the Boston music scene. Is that accurate?
Yep.
So tell me about some of the rooms that you were playing in at that time, and describe that scene to me. Get a little nostalgic with me.
It's funny because we were just with our original drummer, Paul Geary, the other night. We hooked up, and it was the first time I'd seen him in a couple of years. And we were reminiscing. Paul Geary. And we were reminiscing about this shit because he was always like the business guy in the band.
Yeah.
He played drums, but he was focused on relationships,
grids,
get us in this
mathematics.
club, get us in that club, doing the math, hustling on the phone, trying to get us new venues and stuff. So we used to play.
Why don't you just pull the mic a little towards you a little bit? There we go. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Am I good?
Yeah, you look good now. Yeah.
And so we
I gotta
used
make
to
sure
play,
I hear your sweet voice. Yes.
All the Boston clubs, nowadays, there's not a whole lot of, it's sad what's happened, but we'd play the Channel, which is now like a parking lot.
So you were on Paul because Paul's the guy that's handling all the booking side of everything. Is he also doing that?
Well, he's the drummer and booking, hustling and getting us the gigs.
Okay.
We'd play. There was a place. There's still a couple places that are still around, but we'd play the Paradise, which is obviously still around. We'd play at Club 3, which was in Somerville.
Yeah, I don't really know Club 3. Yeah.
Jack's, Cambridge. We'd play at places on Lansdowne. We'd play the Rat Cellar.
Yep.
There was a place called Celebration, which was downstairs of a dance club called Narcissus, and it was in Kenmore Square. It eventually became the Gap. So if you ever shopped at the Gap,
yeah, I know. Yeah.
So we were like,
that's not my kind of place to shop, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So, they got hoodies like that at the Gap, but maybe not.
Thank
some
you.
logo
Am I stylish?
So we played all the Boston bars, all the clubs, anywhere and everywhere. I mean, there might be 50 people there. There could be 1,000 people there.
What was the favorite Boston spot at that time? Or like maybe not your favorite room, but the place where you guys actually had pull at that point, and you were
It was probably that place, Narcissus.
Narcissus.
Yeah, and it was a dance club, but on Wednesday nights they'd have heavy metal night. So like downstairs, like some of the smaller bands would play, but upstairs, like the bigger bands would play. And so we ended up being kind of like the big, like local act that would then open when other bands would come into town. Then we'd be the band to open, like bands like Poison, who at the time they were still a club band, you know.
Right. Well, when they came through, you guys opened for them at Narcissus.
Narcissus in Kenmore Square. But yeah, so a lot of fun, fond memories of those times because it was all new and exciting. We kind of felt the excitement of the band breaking,
Yeah. So now let's fast forward. All of a sudden, everybody wants a piece of Extreme. You're on every bill at every festival. In those early days of like when you knew it was on, like, oh wow, something's happening. Who are the bands that were in the circuit with you at that point? Was like Poison always on the festivals also?
Yeah, so
who were the other acts?
There was a time where Extreme, like we'd put our first album out, the self-titled record, in 1989, which didn't really have a big hit on it, and like we were kind of like, we had record company support. Those were the days when labels would be like, we're gonna dump like hundreds of thousands. So the first album was out before
things took off.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we did do some touring. And, we had tour support from the label. We'd travel around the country. We were in Japan. I mean, I am like 4 years out of high school, and I'm playing shows in freaking Tokyo,
What's going on here?
And the label, they put up the money, but of course it's all recoupable, so you got to pay that shit back.
Right.
So we were
which at
touring.
That point means nothing to you. Like, what?
I don't even know what that means. I can't say words that have that many syllables.
Yeah. I'll go to Japan and play some music. I don't have to pay. Okay.
I'll pay later though. You'll pay later.
Yeah.
But so we had tour support. We had a record. We made like big, a couple $100,000 they'd make for a video. Big videos and everything.
Yeah.
MTV was a huge thing back then.
Oh yeah, it was.
And so the other bands that were kind of up and coming at the time, were bands like Poison, bands like Winger.
Who were you like? When you park your tour buses, it was like, oh, Winger's on the bill too. We're definitely getting wild tonight. Like, who were the bands?
We did one of our big. We did it one of our first tours with Winger.
There
was a band Warrant.
Warrant.
It was all the hair bands. Like we were in the.
You were in the hair band scene.
If you look up if you go to the record store, if there is one around. Mm-hmm. If you look for the hair bands, then you'd find Extreme there.
But you are on the fringe of that. You're not.
Yeah, we never considered ourselves really a hair band. But
yeah, I agree with that.
But we came out in the late '80s and we had long hair, so we're automatically a hair band. But
completely.
But it was all those type bands. Winger, Warrant. But the
Dokken,
one band,
Dio, Striper.
Yeah, they were even a little before us, like the Dokken and Dio, bands I grew up listening to, but. Obviously, the biggest band to come out of that era was Guns N' Roses.
Oh, golly,
So I saw them in a club. Like, it was before they had even broken. Like, Appetite for Destruction had just come out.
What club were you in? And did you like it when you first saw it?
So that was a place called The Living Room down in Providence, Rhode Island.
Did you like it? Were you like, this is good, or were you like, not into it?
Guns?
Yep.
Oh, I loved it.
It was awesome.
Yeah, because that record to me is still one of the best. Like,
it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's not my generation, and I recognize it as unbelievable. It's like amazing. Yeah.
But who am I to say? But after that record, it falls off quick for me. Like I didn't really like the other Gun stuff. Like that record is like that's up there with one of the greatest. Debut records of all times, So, and of course, that's why they can still play stadiums.
Yeah, I agree with
30
this.
years later or something. But yeah, we were around in that era of bands.
So here you are. Things are on the rise. All of a sudden, you're seeing your videos on MTV, like we said, which is like totally the most amazing thing at that time. And then you, one step further, are like doing live interviews on MTV. How was that feeling? Because a lot of people don't understand, but a lot of people do. MTV was like everything that you could ever be doing, like in music at that time. You're on MTV, it's like game's over.
Yeah, if you're not on MTV, then nothing's going to happen for you. If you're on MTV, you can suddenly overnight become a household name.
Incredible. Game changer.
It was a game-changing moment at that time.
What do you recall the first time a video was on MTV? Was it on Headbangers Ball?
It was
Ricky
on Headbangers
Rackman?
Ball. It's funny you even bring that up because I remember staying up because they said your first video was a song called Kid Ego.
Yeah.
And they're like, your video's going to be on this whatever night it was between the hours of 11 and like 3 in the morning. I'm like, I'm staying up all fucking
with the
night.
VCR ready to go.
I'm like, I'm staying up all night because I got to see this, And I used to like, obviously it's a big accomplishment to either put out a record and actually have your record in the record store. And this was the time where they're still selling
seeing
vinyl.
It on the shelf at whatever the store was then was amazing.
I went to Wellington Circle in Medford.
Yep.
Walked into Strawberries the first day our first record came out, and I walked into Strawberries and went and bought my own record.
Yes.
And I have a photo of me with my high school buddy, like in the store. Like I'm like, it was surreal. Like, and so
It's incredible.
I've always done that where any record that we've ever put out, I walk into a store and buy it when it first comes out, just to have that experience of like, shit, man, this is something I recorded and I can, like, it's in the fucking
it's
store.
It's a real thing. It's tangible.
Real.
It's out here.
So yeah, that was one, some of the early days.
You saw it on Headbangers Ball, and was there like this? And then shortly thereafter, you're actually doing interviews for MTV broadcasts. Like, and not just in the United States, like in Sweden and things. Now, did you feel from that an immediate impact? As like, did the band like
overnight?
We did MTV and then boom, it's on, boy.
It took a while before, like, say that first album came out. We had a few videos off the record. They had marginal success. It wasn't like we blew wide open on the first record. It was our sophomore record that was that was our big hit and we had even put out a couple of videos that that kind of missed the mark and didn't really have, we didn't have a huge hit with some of the rock tunes we'd put out. But then that song More Than Words came out, which, the song became bigger than the band. Like, people don't know. Like,
it became like the people's song. It wasn't even yours anymore. Yeah.
They go, oh, I heard you're in a band. Yeah, a band from, like the early 90s called Extreme. I never heard of Extreme. I go, you ever hear that song More Than Words?
Yeah, More Than Words.
I know that song.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was my prom song. That was I got laid for the first time, that song. Or like we've heard it all. It's like so that was the song when the video came out. And suddenly it was on the top 10 countdown.
Yeah, it was.
It was on number 1 on MTV for like months. Suddenly, and I'm not saying Extreme can take credit for it, but it was like right around the time where MTV started doing the unplugged thing. Yeah. And so there was a wave of,
I think it spearheaded a transition there because other things happened like after that point.
There were some other bands
Nelson,
that suddenly
maybe.
had acoustic songs, that normally probably wouldn't before that, So I can't say, I can't accuse someone, hey, you ripped us off.
Right. Well,
I'm just saying that it was part of that.
You contributed. It's a positive
thing. We contributed
thing.
to the unplugged, era of,
How let's get a little deeper into this here. Let's delve into this. How did that make, as a band that was prior to in the section that says heavy or metal rock, to have your greatest success on a song that is James Taylor acoustic music?
There were a lot of upset, angry grandmothers that went back to the record store and said, I think this record's wrong because I'm looking for this song, and I put this on, and it sounds like, a heavy metal band.
It's like some noise is happening here, Lois.
So, it was, you can never say that.
How did the guys within the band, what were you guys saying? Like, this is hilarious? Or you're like, wow, that's cool?
Well, we always knew that the song had some sort of mass appeal, because before the song of the album even came out, we were playing clubs.
Yeah. And
I didn't play on the song. It was Gary and Nuno. It was an acoustic, just a duet vocal thing.
Yep.
And
are you sitting on the couch in the video though?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in the video.
A little next to the candle. You have a little candlelight scene going on.
Hey, I have one of the most famous fingers in the world.
You really do.
The video starts with my finger shutting my amp off.
Wow.
But no, it's too funny.
What a finger, yeah.
But the song, it's a double-edged sword, because you can never complain about having a number. It was a number one hit, like Billboard number one.
It's one of the songs that is there forever. It's like on all the greatest hits things. It's there forever. Yeah, that song.
What can you say? The song stands the test of time. I never would have imagined 30-something years later that I'd still be saying. People text me all the time. Oh, your song's on
text and checks.
In the supermarket. Or I'm in the elevator and more than words on. So, I think at the time,
did that come with some? Actually, I have two questions here. Did you immediately see the audience at the show change? Was there all of a sudden this other kind of people, and you're like, oh golly, they're not here for the real show. They're here for that song.
Well,
they're gonna be
there's
waiting.
a couple of things to that. So,
do we play it first and get them out of here? Do we play it last, make them wait it out?
At first, we knew even before the album came out, Gary and Nuno used to play it live, and the audience would.
They received it well.
They received it well.
Your standard audience.
There was. Back in the day, you could actually have a lighter and hold up a lighter.
Yes.
There was many lighters being held up at the shows for the song. And people singing along, even before it was out.
I'm talking about the people that became aware of Extreme from that song, that were not your fans, that viewed Extreme as more than words.
It still to this day, it was a bit of a branding thing where you're like, people don't really understand the full scope of that. We're more of a rock band. But we have an acoustic ballad song. Not to compare us by any means to any of these great bands. I don't want to sound like I'm comparing us to Led Zeppelin or
But
the Beatles.
Go ahead and compare yourself to Led Zeppelin, yeah.
But those bands that we grew up listening to, Queen, Zeppelin, they would do an acoustic song amongst the heavier stuff. There wasn't so many parameters, and you have to fit into this, 10 songs have to sound the same.
Right.
It was like they could experiment or, have a song that was off color or something that was unique or...
So a song that was standout-ish on an album wasn't necessarily standout-ish in the entire overview of the rock and roll game.
Yeah, so we always thought it was just a different color, a different texture in a I
like texture.
A palette of music, right? But then people want to know what category do we put you in, and what station can we play you on, and what MTV show can you be on and not be on, and what shows can you play, because suddenly your biggest hit is like an acoustic ballad that's so unlike the other songs on your record. So it was a bit of a double-edged,
Was there like this, guys, just write something close to that? We need like a follow-up in that, like, guys, come on, give me another kind of acoustic. Maybe we can have drums and bass this time, but an acoustic.
It was that song Wholehearted.
Right,
but
that's what I was going to say.
It was already on the record. No one twisted our arm.
Yeah.
Because
I was there already.
It was there already.
Yep.
So, and
that's why that was the strong follow-up.
That was why it was a strong follow-up.
Great song. Another great song.
Obvious follow-up,
Yeah.
And so then, then we went back in the studio to record. And right around that time was probably it was probably one of the most mind-blowing experiences to this day for me that happened to us at that time.
Okay.
We got invited to play at the Freddie Mercury tribute concert. Okay.
I know all about this. I want to know all about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So when Freddie died, they had this tribute show at Wembley Stadium.
Freddie Mercury, lead singer of Queen.
Yep.
Make that clear here.
And if anyone's seen the recent biopic about Queen, about Bohemian Rhapsody, where at the end of the show, the climax is Queen playing on stage at Live Aid.
Yeah.
Okay. So picture that scene, but now I'm thrust into being on that very stage.
Yeah.
Okay. This was not long after Live Aid.
People.
It was a sea of people, like in Wembley Stadium. It's no longer there anymore, but this was the old, this is a soccer stadium. So we played to like 80,000 people that day. And
is that all that was there?
It
looked like a million.
It was like 1 billion people on television. It was the most watched concert of all times at that time.
Yeah.
At that point. It was the biggest concert.
The biggest thing going on in the world at that moment definitely was that show. That's definite. So that's true. That's completely true.
That was March of 1992. And if you YouTube it, you can look it up. Freddie Mercury tribute concert.
Yeah.
So we played and we had made friends. It was like we still pinch ourselves of all the idols that we had growing up that we've actually, can call friends more than acquaintance, but just say, I got this guy.
Pals. Funny text going on. Yeah.
And so here we have, we're invited to play this Freddie Mercury concert, and because we had met Brian May of Queen, and he really respected the band. And he'd come to our shows and stuff. We're like hanging out with Brian May. And so he invites us to the to play. And so the early part of the day is Metallica, Extreme, Def Leppard, Guns N' Roses. So here we are, like on a stadium stage playing with surrounded by
the best that's happening at the time.
Yeah,
completely.
Metallica went on before us. I go, wow, Metallica opened for us. I can say that for the rest of my life.
World?
What is happening here, right?
But
of course, they went on to much greater things than we did, but at least
in this particular show,
that day,
you
Metallica
guys came
opened.
out with this medley scene that people were like, "Oh my god!"
Well, of course,
closest thing to Queen.
It was a big risk.
Closest thing to Queen, yeah.
Because we did play a Queen medley,
yeah,
and of course the crowd was, it was like hook, line, and sinker. They were into it. It would have been bad if we
78,000 out of 80,000 singing. Yeah.
If we blew it, then it would have been game over. That would have been bad. But we pulled it off. I think,
you guys pulled it off.
And still to this very day, people talk about that and ask us about it. It was probably one of the most memorable concerts I can ever say I've ever been part of. Because after those 4 bands played, then the remaining members of Queen came out. And all these legendary artists were there. We're talking Roger Daltrey from The Who, Robert Plant from Zeppelin. We're talking, it was mind-blowing. Like, we're hanging out backstage. I'm like, oh, well, there's David Bowie, and there's Elton John. And there's like,
David
and we're like,
Bowie.
yeah, we're hanging out with you. And there's Annie
God.
Lennox, and there's like Seal. And,
Seal.
We're like hanging out, we're like, how did we get here? Like, how did we end up, and so we end up like meeting Roger Daltrey, and he invites us to his house. He's like, hey, my kids are fans of you guys. Do you want to come for a barbecue? And we're like, let's see, what are we doing tomorrow? Of course we're going to come to your house for a barbecue. So we're like hanging out we're hanging out at Daltrey's house. He picks us up at the train station, and we're like having a barbecue with them. I mean, it's just insanity.
Gosh.
So some things like have happened over our career that I still pinch myself and go, how can this possibly have even happened to this kid from Winchester?
Yeah.
That was in his little garage band.
This gives me a couple of other questions here. So that was a milestone gig in your mind, like, oh my gosh, like a pinnacle moment in everything. Were there any others that were hugely transitional in the success of Extreme? Well, you guys were there by the time you're doing the Freddie Mercury tribute. Prior to this, what were the shows that gave you, like, that was a launch pad for us?
Well, I remember the first arena we ever played. This may not be...
Define arena to me. What arena? Where?
Okay,
What's the
so this
scene?
was up in Portland, Maine.
Yep.
Up at I guess it was the Civic Center at the time.
Yep.
You know, now everything has a freaking sponsor name. I don't know what it is now. Might be like the TD Garden something. I don't know. But at the time it was the Portland Civic Center, and we opened for Aerosmith.
Wow.
So here we are, like, and this was, when Extreme was. I don't even know if we had we had a record deal, but we were like looking for management.
Okay.
Tim Collins was the guy that managed Aerosmith at the time, and he was the guy that got Tyler straight, sober, had all the interventions and got those guys all into rehab and everything. But he was interested in managing Extreme, and so he put us on as the opening act to Aerosmith to kind of go, let's see what you guys got,
all right.
So here we are, and again,
point.
this is only a few years after high school, and here I am, they had their big... They had Permanent Vacation was their big, record, their big comeback. And so here we are playing, on stage before Aerosmith. We're like, holy shit, we've arrived. Like, we're here. We're fucking open for our idols, right? So the end of the story is that Tim Collins passed on us. He said, I don't think you guys are ready. And, maybe he was right,
But we feel good about it.
But so that was kind of a monumental moment for us, feeling like, holy shit, we're playing it. But then the next
night you're playing a basement party in Somerville
again or something. So I'll never forget that, playing the arena for the first time. And then beyond that, we did do some tours that were pretty mind blowing because of where we grew up or how we, guys that we grew up listening to. We did a tour with David Lee Roth, when he was solo out of Van Halen. And, then there was times we would even go to shows and go see a band, and we saw Van Halen. And I remember Nuno and I went, we were like, it was a day off that we had, and they were playing this, in the same town that we were. So we were like, let's go to the show. Here we go, and they bring us into the dressing room, and Eddie and Alex are in there. And Nuno and I are like, holy shit, we're like in the freaking dressing room with,
with the band.
With this band we grew up listening. This is like, these are
dope,
idols.
Dude,
this is like my favorite band. How is this happening?
Yeah.
And so then, like, we're hanging out, and Eddie's like, here, have a beer, whatever, and blah, 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 shooting
like,
the shit.
They're not pushing us out either.
We walked on stage with him we're walking up the stairs, and we were hanging out. And, he has his wall of amps, on stage. But there's one cabinet that's off to the side. It's all mic'd up, and that's the sound that's going out to the house, right?
Yeah.
So Nuno and I are sitting there drinking our beers, and we're like, you can feel the air coming, like, out of the speakers, on our legs. And I'm, like, listening to Eddie Van Halen, like, and watching him, like, play one of the greatest guitar players of all time, if not the greatest rock guitar player. And then he'd come over between songs. He's cracking beers for us and handing us beers and stuff. And I'm like, how can this
What is going on in the world right now?
How can this be happening?
Is this a thing?
Wow,
man. Those are some certainly fulfilling moments,
And I always feel like when I tell these stories, like to friends, I go, they must think I'm just bullshitting. This is like could have never happened, right?
That's how it works, man.
Because it sounds like one like far-fetched story after the next. I'm like, I don't want to sound like Commander McBragg. Like, do you remember that cartoon with the?
No.
You're too young. Anyone out there that's like 50 or something,
Commander
you know who
McBragg.
Commander McBragg is.
Yeah.
But it was part of the Underdog. You know who Underdog
I know
is?
Underdog.
All right, so there was this thing, Commander, and the guy would like go on these far-fetched stories and whatever. And so I always feel like I'm Commander McBragg telling the stories of, well, how about the time we opened for Plant and Page? We're like, we had a trailer right next to Robert Plant and Jimmy Page when they were doing their reunion thing, or it wasn't Zeppelin, but it was Plant and Page.
Yeah.
And we're hanging out with them all afternoon and drinking, Jimmy Page is drinking wine and chilling with us and whatever. And then we go up and we're standing on the side of the stage listening to Bust Into the Immigrant song. Wow. And we're looking at each other like, how can this even be? Like, when I was in high school, I couldn't have even imagined any of this shit could have happened to me.
Couple deep breaths. Like, is this real?
I know. I still pinch myself and go, how did all this happen? Like,
now that you've performed at basically every type of situation, from garages to clubs to stadiums to arenas, which one do you love the most? Like, what's your vibe? Now that you're not like, oh, I want to play this arena, I need 1 million people. Now that you've had all of these things, where do you actually find your musical peace?
I love places that are more like down and dirty, sweaty, like a Hampton Beach casino in the middle of the summer.
Yeah.
Where like people are...
What's that, like 3,000 people in there or something too?
Yeah, or something like that. But, you can see the expression on people's faces. People are into it. Because honestly, not to sound spoiled or whatever, but when you're on a stadium stage...
there's like 150 feet before a person.
And there's a barricade before the next... you can't even see... Like, you can barely see someone's eyes or, like, the expression on their face.
The area where there's no people is bigger than the clubs most people play in their entire careers. Yep.
And so you feel very disconnected from the crowd. I mean, it's great when you hear a roar from a crowd far away, but like I'm much more like I like having some eye contact. Like you smile at somebody, smile back, or you see somebody like
the real connection here.
You getting that
this
like
feeling.
Give and take, So those are the type gigs I'd prefer.
So what would you say it is you love about music? Is it that connection that exists at a live performance? Is it something deeper than that?
It's as far as
why
live,
do you love music?
Live, the connection with people and the reaction. Whether I'm playing Extreme or I have like an Eagles tribute band, I love doing that, and like people are singing. They're not my songs, but they're being entertained. I'm entertaining them.
Yep.
So
you love
all,
both sides, original and playing.
Yeah,
other
I love
songs.
playing in the tribute band.
Why? What is it? What's the thing?
The thing
keeps
is
you playing.
The magic of music. I mean, it is something that it's a universal. Some people are tone deaf or aren't into music or whatever, but the vast majority of people, there's at least some music that connects to their soul, right? And when you're a performer, and I'm sure you feel this as well when you're singing, and there's something that you have this connection to people, and you share this without sounding too. Spiritual.
It's okay
to
be a hippie. It's okay. Be confident.
But you're like you are enjoying the same energy and the same vibe and sound waves, and like it is something that you like are sharing with a crowd, or and that is what all performers, I think, mostly unless you're just phoning it in, that's what makes me want to always experience the next. It's like some people are addicted to drugs, or addicted to alcohol, or whatever, or maybe both. But that's when you're a performer. That's an addiction. Is that you have to feel that kind of give and take with an audience.
You were once asked, "Where is it that you come up with your best ideas?" And your immediate response, without hesitation, perhaps you don't recall yet, was on the crapper.
Yeah.
Now, is that still accurate? Is that where the majority of the ideas come from? Is it a go-to spot when you're looking for a line?
They can actually happen at any time, really. Yeah. I find a lot.
Was that accurate, or was that a joke at that moment?
It was kind of a joke at
with
the
that
moment.
Swedish.
It was a joke.
Yeah. Okay.
That was a joke, but usually nowadays it's in the barn.
In the barn.
Or like working outside, whether I'm on the tractor, because I do have a little small farm. I could be in the horse stall mucking poop, and I'm coming up with song titles or coming up with lines or rhymes or themes. It's when I'm by myself and I can just like...
there was a poop connection there between the crapper and the shoveling of the poop, though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Maybe it has something to do with the smell of poop, but there's this percolating that can happen when you're alone and can you're not being distracted by the kids or the TV or the radio or whatever. And it's when you have some time alone, I think that's when I do most of my, like I said, it's a little percolating of ideas.
When you're out on the road with Extreme and the highlight of it all, do you have makeup artists? Do you have to get makeup put on you before you go out on stage? Does that ever happen?
No, that was back in the 80s, like the videos.
Yeah.
they'd like, put makeup on you for the close-ups and whatever.
Right.
Or photo magazine kind of shit,
And were any of you guys the kind of guys? Was there a hairdresser that rolled with you? Was there a hairstylist that took care of your hair?
Never any of that. No,
Yeah.
we weren't.
See, that's why. That's what I'm saying. Like you weren't the hair band situation. Like those guys. Like that was going on. There was hair.
Oh,
what
guys
do they call?
wanted
Hair
to look
dryers.
like chicks.
Like they had hair dryers and like whatever the things are called.
Yeah, we weren't part of any of that.
I know.
Yeah. But again, when we'd make videos and stuff, they'd put the, shit so you're not looking shiny, on the camera.
Yeah.
You gotta look, right for MTV.
I love it. You did have some long locks for a while, some long flowing hair. Yeah, that's all.
You still have it.
I do. I'm going. You still do too.
I kind of cut mine. It's a little short.
At some point, it was like super blonde. Did you have blonde hair? Were you blonde?
When I was a little kid, I had like white.
But
hair,
on stage at like the Freddie Mercury kind of thing, you had a blondish
I used to dye
look.
it blonde,
Oh, there was dyeing going on.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
All right,
They
I
didn't
don't know.
travel with me though. I'd go to the salon.
You go to the salon
I
for
go,
it.
yeah, give me some. Every band
Wasn't
had
like
to have one
sun
blonde
and
guy.
spray, just sitting there like. Shh.
No, every
you
band had to
needed
have one blonde guy, right?
You were fulfilling the blonde guy role.
Yeah, it's a role, I just like acting,
Yeah. When you play an event with a name like Hellfest, do you have a talk before about how you have to play more hellish and rocking music? Or do you just extreme it up?
We always just extremed it up. Like we had those conversations though, where there were shows like that where we're like, why are we on this bill with like Obituary and like these really hardcore metal bands? And
King Diamond? What?
Yeah, we were on some of those crazy like metal bills. But we'd say, do we skip doing More Than Words tonight or what? Like, do we just like go for the harder stuff? But we would be like, you know what?
Man, they're humans out
Fuck
there.
it. Yeah. And can I tell you something? There were a couple of festivals like that where I'm like going, okay, they're going to do More Than Words. I'm going to go hide behind throwing shit, right? And can I tell you that all the bikers and all the fucking people there with
Light
the
is up.
666, they're all singing More Than Words because Gary would say, hey, everyone out there's got a mother or grandmother, so this one goes out to them or something like that. I forget how he introed it.
Rope you in.
Yeah.
Because you can't go against that. Yeah.
They put down their chains and shit and whatever, and they're like, all right, before you know it, they're all fucking singing along. And it's like, I don't know, something about that song was very, universal.
Yeah. And unifying. Yeah. So in those times, where were you recording albums? Who were the producers? Were you living in the studio while you were recording? Was it a party vibe? Was it super serious? Were you being manipulated as to the lines you could play? People watching over you? Or were you playing music? All those things.
Well, each
Where were
record
you?
was different.
Yep.
So the first album, which was the debut record that came out in '89, that we recorded down in Hanson, Massachusetts.
Yep.
And so we had met people that shopped our demos. They actually, before we even had the record deal, there was two women, Pat Danner and Yvette Collins, which Yvette's no longer with us, but Pat, will give her a shout out too.
What up, Pat and Yvette? Yeah.
Pat owned a studio, like it was a barn, and down on the South Shore, a lot of people knew about it, Hanson Recording.
Yep.
And so they offered us kind of a spec deal and said, listen, spec for all you people that don't know, it's speculation. So basically, they're like, we'll let you record for free, and we want to manage you. If we can get you a record deal, then we're going to be your managers, and then that's where we're going to make our money. So we're letting you record here on the speculation that you're going to make it someday. So we recorded like tons of demos in the early days. Like we're talking like 87, whatever. We were doing 1987. We were just recording for free. We were basically like living at their house and recording. And they're the ones that got us our record deal with A&M Records.
Wow.
And so that was it was a very homey vibe because we were like literally,
In the
either
house,
I'd drive back and forth down to the South Shore, or we'd like just crash out at their house.
Yeah.
And they treated us like we were family. They were really kind to us.
Making breakfast,
Yeah,
doing all
the
the
whole
things.
deal. Yeah.
That's great.
And we did a lot of bonding too. As we were young guys, just hanging out together and in a band together. And it was a time where it was before anything had ever happened for us. But then, the second record, we all went to L.A. and recorded it.
Here's See you later, Pat and Yvette. Is that what it was?
Yeah. So we went to L.A. All got
Big
tattoos.
city of dreams. Yep. What were the tattoos you got there? Big shot.
I'm not gonna pull up the sleeves now, but we had we got tattoos for the first time.
Wow.
We're living the LA lifestyle. We're hanging out at the Rainbow.
Hanging out with LA Guns. Yeah.
All those bands. We're hanging out there. We're so we recorded a place in Studio City called Scream.
So good.
Yeah. And so we enjoyed that. Like, we all had apartments. It was all on the dime. The record company.
Yeah.
It's all recoupable. We had to pay the shit back, but we all had rental cars and we're buzzing around.
Didn't
and the
seem
budgets,
real just yet.
We got like a huge $1 million budget to make a record, and whatever you don't spend, you get to keep.
Yeah.
Or fucking spending, whatever.
Yeah.
And it was a big deal, and of course that was the record that blew up. And then
it actually was recouped and paid for, and then you got more.
We're gonna even give you more money for the next one, because that one worked out really well for the bank.
Yeah.
So then we went down to Florida, and we were recording at a place called New River Studios, which I don't know if it's there anymore, but it was it was right down in Fort Lauderdale. And we had a lot of fun down there. I mean,
Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, we had a great time down there. We're like fishing, boats. I bought a classic car. I mean, it was like we were living large down there.
Living the dream, balling out.
Again, rented an apartment right on the Intercoastal. We're hanging out there watching boats go by. We're going to the studio. It was a fun time.
Wow.
And so we did those two records. It was called Three Sides to Every Story. It was the third record. And then we made a record called Waiting for the Punchline at Criteria. We moved studios, and Criteria is a hugely famous studio where the Bee Gees did all their stuff. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen the recent documentary on the Bee Gees.
I have not seen that.
It's a must-see.
It's a must-see.
I'm telling
You're giving me a task. I like this.
You will gain so much respect for the Bee Gees if you watch this and realize that they went through.
You're going to have to text me once after this 60s. To ask me to do it again.
Oh, yeah, you're going to have to watch it. But they came out in the late 60s. They used to sound like the Beatles and stuff.
Yeah.
That era. Yeah. And then it wasn't until a small part of their career when they hit that big disco era.
Super
but
disco.
They blew up. They had 5 or 6 songs on the charts at the same time. It was one of the biggest selling records of all time.
Good, yeah.
Staying Alive and all that shit.
So good. That's the move.
But that, the Eagles recorded Hotel California at Criteria. I mean, this place was legendary. Just off the charts. So here we are recording at one of the biggest, studios in the world.
Amidst all of this happening, you're just regular guys from Winchester, Malden, Ked, wherever you're from, and all of a sudden you're famous and you got money and you're balling out and you're in LA and it's just 4 kids, and all of a sudden there's these new things presented to you, new feelings, egos start to get involved, and you're processing all this new stuff. And now with this, you're in a relationship, a marriage with these. Oh, you look at it different now. Whoa, we're in this together.
Yeah.
Well, he's acting like that. Oh God, he's nuts. How were the complex inner working? Was it you
Honestly,
guys just got along? We always got
along really well. Yeah. We never had drinking and drug problems.
Yep.
We were enjoying the ride, and then. It was we started seeing things go south when the grunge era came out, right?
The start of the Nirvana.
Yeah, Soundgarden, Nirvana. I mean, I remember, so here is one thing about the first album tour that we did in 1989. The opening act that came out with us was Alice in Chains. Like they were opening for us, singing, you know.
Yeah.
And of course they went on to, yeah. And our crowd didn't like them. They're like, what is this shit? These guys are coming out with combat boots and like, you know, army shorts and shit. And they're like,
lane.
Wait, yeah, where's like the guys with the hairspray and the, you know, the makeup? But
that are hiding the heroin.
But our record company A&R guy used to tell us, like, you know, he's be in the studio with us, you know, talking about our album. And he's like, yeah, I'm flying up to Seattle later because I'm going to see this band Soundgarden. I'm thinking of signing Soundgarden. And so I knew about them before the world knew about them, you know? And he would play us some of the shit. And he was involved with the Temple of the Dog stuff.
Oh,
and,
yeah. That was cool.
Yeah, you know, because that had Eddie Vedder, Chris Cornell singing, you know, all that shit.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, this guy was finger on the pulse of that shit before it ever was big. Yeah. And so, you know, I saw in a real quick time where bands of our era got swept under the rug, and that whole wave of the Nirvanas, Soundgarden, Pearl Jams, all like, you know, were on the rise, and suddenly things looked kind of bleak for us. We're kind of like,
golly.
oh
We're
shit,
kinda
I guess
fading out here.
Yeah, it was like that was kind of it was kind of like we were a meteor that just kind of suddenly, you know. Yeah, it's kind of fading out, and I'm like, oh shit, even the biggest bands from our era, like Bon Jovi, we used to like open for Bon Jovi on tour and stuff. Even those bands were struggling to sell records and keep it together. And we're like, well, if a band like that size, you know, a band like, we're an opening band for those kind of, we're kind of like seeing a whole change in the guard here. And at that time, also, Nuno was, he was writing a lot of stuff on his own. And he wanted to put out a solo record. And so he was like, guys, my heart's not in Extreme anymore. I want to put out a record. And Gary was like...
This is like what year, 96?
This was like 96, yeah. Gary was like,
I know
put out your solo record, but then don't like shut the door on Extreme. Come back and do another record. But he's like, my heart's not in, I'm not going to do another. You know? And so things fell apart that quick, just how things, you know, so
90.
here... So it was like a 10-year run, really, you know, between the time I joined to the time shit kind of broke up.
And then you're out there. Hold on. You like gifts? You like gifts?
Who doesn't like gifts?
I don't know. Maybe some people don't like gifts. I don't know. It could be out there. I'm going to give you a gift. Don't move.
As long as it's not like a plate of shit or something.
No. Back to the toilet.
What is this? Oh, my God. Is this from the good people at Riverwalk?
No. Yeah, we just use their stickers, and we love them so much. There's probably something from Riverwalk in there, but they, you know, I want you to pull them out one at a time. There you go.
This is This is a sweet. I'm gonna have to adjust the hack.
Yeah, you got to adjust it.
All the nice things you've said about me tonight. I got a big head.
You have a big head. You are the kind of guy that enjoys your life, though. I've seen you out there.
I enjoy my life. And I have to say that I love trucker hats.
Wow.
Especially, you know, in the summer. With that, we get ventilation. Back here with
the airflow
with the hair like we have.
Yeah, you're blessed.
People don't understand that.
Blessed
that is
with
like
the hair.
An occupational hazard.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So that's damn cool.
Look
the hat,
at you.
Right?
Yeah.
They look good on the cameras.
I can't tell you that.
Oh.
You look dazzling. What do we have here? What's this? I don't know.
T-shirt here. What is it?
No, it says We NBPT. You know, it's a fundraiser that I started in Newburyport. That's all. That's it. And you're from around here? Yeah, you're a good guy.
Love
Look at
this
you.
town.
Yeah.
I don't play golf, but I'll figure out something to do.
You don't play golf? Man, I thought about it. I'm like, you might hit balls.
I'll figure out something to do.
Whatever. It's a nice, freshy ball for you there.
I know people that play golf.
I know people.
Another Enjoy Your Life. It must be a T-shirt in here.
Yeah, there's an Enjoy Your Life T-shirt in there. And what?
Like a cookie jar.
I taped it together because I was afraid it was going to.
Is this like a cookie jar or something?
Yeah. It's whatever you want it to be.
Sweet.
It's nice. You know, now you have that.
Maybe store something special in there. I see another can of yacht rocker.
Yeah, from the good people at Riverwalk Brewing Co. in Newburyport, Mass.
I'm enjoying a wonderful IPA while we chat tonight.
Yeah. So what do you think about the Riverwalk beer, Pat Badger of Extreme? You love it.
Yeah, and I love The IPA flavor.
Yeah, good vibes.
It's
What
a
else
little
is in
out of season. It's a little stale.
What makes you think that is associated with a time frame?
It's like you think
People
of
only
Christmas.
have candy canes around Christmas.
Someone like, it's a leftover from Christmas.
It was. It's a leftover for you, though.
It was another cool T-shirt.
Oh, yeah. So
One
that
Love.
there, One Love.
That's a
That's from
beauty.
Aldous Collins. He's an artist and musician.
That's a beauty.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it the right size? No?
Well, I'm a large, but although I've been working on extra large. In fact, I just did like this. You ever try one of those juice cleanse things?
I've done a lot of
fasting
fruit,
thing?
Oh, yeah. Fruit fasts, upwards of 50 in my life. Yeah.
I brought one of these with me.
Yeah. Keeping it fruits.
The cold pressed. Have you ever used that brand?
Yeah. What do you have? Orange and turmeric? What
I
do you
don't
have
even
there?
know what's in this, but
That's wonderful.
we did this 3-day fast where it was just juice. 6 a day.
Just
So-
juice.
For 3 days,
Yeah.
no juice,
Great.
no solid food. And
Wonderful.
I just did it about a week ago. I dropped like 5 pounds.
Did you
It
feel
works.
any better? Do you feel any better? Different?
I feel great
Are you
now. that I
keeping
can
it
eat
alive
again.
at all? Oh, now that I can eat again. There it is.
Free Volt.
Yeah, buddy.
I've loved the first 2 that you gave me.
There you go.
Is this the newest one?
Keep pushing my music on you. Yeah.
No, it's cool. Is this the newest one?
Yeah, it's the newest Freevolt one, but it's a year old because, it's been a standstill operation.
Well, looking forward to popping this in my. I actually still have a CD player.
You do.
That's how old
Yeah.
I am.
Look at you. You look good for your age.
Look at
This
these
is what
shorts.
goes on this show. The people that watch the show know what's happening right now. But Pat, he still doesn't quite understand what's going on here. So what goes on every episode is I actually give every guest a piece of my own old clothing.
This
It's
is your
clean.
old clothing?
It's clean. It's been washed.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's too big for me now.
Hold on a
It's
second.
a 34.
Has it been washed?
That's
So they're too big for you,
too big for
but
me
they're
now.
34?
I don't want to. What this does is it increases the chances of them being used again. You could throw them right in the trash. The
I
way
actually
you're looking
like
at
'em.
me, you like them.
I like them.
They're called Planet Earth.
I could wear that.
I
bro.
loved them, but then
I mean, again, with, like the
slimmed
candy
out.
cane, it's a little out of season. Different season.
seasons change, Patrick.
It'll come back around.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Here's a couple stickers.
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
stickers.
stick those everywhere.
Because I do enjoy my life.
Yeah, you do. That's what I think about when I think about you.
I have like some police line, no crossing,
In case things get dangerous.
in case someone
You
wants
know how it
to
is.
steal some of my shit
And
here.
Axl Rose is
put
hanging
this
out
here.
with you. You might need that.
And then here, is this my check for $1 million?
No, that's
Oh, it's a
already
card.
in your car. That's a card. On the other side of it, there's a picture. If you flip the card over, yeah, you see.
Oh, nice little
So
beach.
it's a local artist, photographer. His name's Matthew Muiz, really nice guy. That's it. I'm
Dude,
just.
thank you for the gifts.
Oh golly, thanks
Who
for
doesn't
being
love
here.
swag? In fact,
no one's ever giving you anything for free before, so here you go.
in fact, I'm gonna put this stuff out in my car for a minute. Can you cover me for like?
Yeah, I
5
sure
minutes?
can. I got a lot of things to say
All right, I'll
while
be
you're
right
outside of the room. So, remember, we used to talk about these things all the time, right? You got to take care of your body. Run, jump, sweat. Also, listen to good music. What a pleasure it is to be here in the room with Pat from Extreme. This dude is just running off names of people like the things that he's done are pretty epic. Yeah, quite nice. Offering something. Hey, are you watching? Are you seeing this right now? Click on that subscribe button. I got time for plugs, kid. Click on subscribe. Notifications bell. Oh, okay, let's reel it in. Pass back. Let's slide that curtain all the way over. Yeah. If we were talking about you, it's only nice things. You know that I love you. So, outside of music, did the band ever give back? You guys ever do anything good for the world, for the people in it? Did you ever try to help make the world a better place for other people?
We've done a couple of benefit type things.
Just a couple benefit things.
Yeah, we did. Sadly, you always have requests, for people who may be sick or maybe dying. And it's like really sad because
you got to be selective. You're like, I can't
do
everything.
You can't do everything for everyone that you get these requests because otherwise, your schedule just obviously can't permit it. But you want to help or you want to help make someone's day or whatever. Yeah. There were times where we had we did a couple benefit concerts where all the proceeds went to helping someone get a lung transplant or but again, you can't do that like every day. I mean, who can, whatever business you're in, you can't just like dedicate your whole life. Well, you can dedicate your whole life to helping people. But
it was on your mind. The band Extreme thought about these things and participate. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
The truth is, you don't have to do anything. You don't be giving your money away all your time. You don't have to do that. But you did this.
We did. We've done those type things.
How about now in your personal life? I'm not talking about giving away money. Do you feel that you better or are a productive or positive influence on anything? You a good man?
I like to think so.
Yeah.
So, I like to, because obviously at the end of the day, whatever you do in your life, when you're gone, you hope that people say good things about you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
they don't know all the crazy stuff you did that's only in your head.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to, you'd rather someone say, well, he really was a good guy. He did this for me or he hooked me up with that or whatever.
Do you feel like you're a good guy, Pat? Are you you feel inside, forget about what anybody's saying about your legacy. About you going to sleep at night?
I do feel like I do sleep very well at night.
You do?
Yeah. I have a lot of, the most important thing to me in my life is my friends.
Yeah.
And I'm fortunate that I'm blessed with very, very many friends. And, most of them know if they call me, if they need something, I'll, whatever they need or whatever, of course my phone's going to be ringing off the hook on Friday night after. Pat, you said whatever I need.
Honey, you were already thinking about asking him. Maybe, maybe he was talking to you.
But, when it comes to, I like to know that my friends can feel like they can depend on me. And I have a lot of true, great friends that are still my friends from high school days and whatever. And at the end of the day, take away all the bullshit and I sold records and I was on MTV,
and I'm the coolest guy around.
Yeah, because there's guys that think that way and they have zero friends. I'd rather be a guy that
you
never
come
had
in the
those
room,
things.
And I can say this, you come in the room, you don't carry ego. You're not like, hey, man, I'm here. I'm so cool. Take care of me. Look at me. I'm awesome. You don't do that stuff. You stay human and stay it's like regular. I mean, I've met you before this. If I had met you and you were just a terrible person, we wouldn't be here right now. But I've met you. Okay. We've spent some time together, and I know you're a good person. Yeah. Yeah, so that's my impression.
And I will say, I've met a lot of celebrities, or met, and again, I'm not comparing myself to some of these guys because they're way beyond the success that I've ever had in Extreme.
Yeah, but you're also way beyond the success of pretty much anybody ever. There's levels of success, and you're in the skyrocketed scene.
There's a lot of musicians that have never made it out of the rehearsal room, out of the whatever. But I've been fortunate enough that we've had success, and I've run into a lot of guys, legendary guys. Some have been amazing to us, and some guys have just been dicks.
What's wrong with this dude?
I wish I never met this fucking guy.
You ruined all of the music.
Yeah, I'm going to go home and burn your records, dude, because you were just, why did you have to be a dick? So that resonated with me where I'm like, if people want to talk about...
Come on, let's really say the name of a band here. Who?
You know who's a tremendous dick?
Yeah, this is what I want.
Gene Simmons is a dick.
I was going to ask you about Gene.
I grew up listening to Kiss, and like
Gene,
we've done the
happened?
Kiss cruise and whatever, and
Yeah.
like, he's just one of those guys that carries himself where he needs to be the center of attention, and he needs to
People are saying
have
this.
everyone sucking his dick, and that, I'm just like, I don't know.
Gene Simmons, get over it.
But
Man.
I still love Gene. I
Yeah.
still love him. But, you can watch I just watched Paul Stanley get interviewed by Dan Rather. And, like, he's been in the band with him. He's like, no,
He's
we
the-
never hang out. He's a dick, So, like, if his own bandmate says that, then who am I to, like, in Little Newburyport, I'm like, Gene Simmons doesn't care if I think he's a dick or not.
Oh, what a time.
But then I've had other guys that I grew up listening to that were, like, amazingly nice to us. And I'm like, again, not to drop names. I've already dropped the names. Like, we're hanging out with the fucking guys in Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
And I met a Beatle. I met George Harrison.
I met a
before he died.
Beatle. You did?
And he was super nice to us. And I'm like, all right, well, that it doesn't get more famous than that, And so, I don't know. At the end of the day, though, you have to. I just play music for a living. I'm not like curing cancer or whatever.
How about this on that topic of what you do for a living? Would you say that your career path it's just so easy and it was comfortable and you just kind of did nothing and looked cool and then played music, or was there actually like work involved? Is there a side of it that you're like, yeah, bro, you might be amazing, but you could not do this. You're not cut out for it. Like,
it was in the heyday.
Yeah.
It was a daily grind. So as much as you wish for success and stuff, every day you'd wake up and do interviews for hours on the phone.
Yeah.
Then you'd do sound check. Then you'd play the gig. You'd party a bit.
Yeah.
Then you'd wake up the next day back to the interviews. And it was like day after day. And it was like the more you partied at night, the more miserable the rest of the, so you kind of learned how to balance it, and even on days off, we would be like, people would want to go sightseeing or see shit. Like, I'm just going to lay in my fucking hotel room and just like recharge my batteries, So, and of course, it's a lot of travel in between. So you're either riding on a bus, you're riding on a train, you're on a plane, and, it's a big world. It's small in some ways, but it's big when you start traveling.
You're actually moving your physical body from one spot to the next.
And living out of a suitcase. Most people go on business trips. Yeah. They're back and forth in like a week, or they're back and forth over a long weekend. We'd be out on the road for months and months and months. So it was that part of it in the heyday was a bit of a grind. And made it like, okay, we're playing the same song again for the
bazillion time.
And,
So how about this? That stops, whatever it is, 96. You guys take this break. You come back in, 2007? Is that kind of close to there?
6, 7.
2006, 7. Two things about when you come back. Is that still the vibe? Is it hustling and grinding tours, or is it so nice time in between, all nice hotels,
lot
transport?
Of nice time in between.
Okay.
It's a lot more weekend warrior shit where we're not like, we'll do some tours where we'll get a bus.
Maybe there's
like
Thursdays and
Europe
Sundays.
Or something, or like shorter runs in the U.S. We'll do like, 3 weeks instead of 3 months. So it's a lot more comfy.
So when you came back on this comfy run, was there a feeling of we are now like here to do what Extreme used to do? Or was it fresh, exciting, like, oh, we're on tour again, we're making some new music?
I think it was more fresh and exciting again.
It was?
Yeah. More like
10 years off, just about, right?
10 years off, you start, that whole, expression, you don't know what you got till it's gone.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, well, we have like another opportunity here to make a new record, go tour again, see places that I haven't been. Even last year, we went to 2 places that I had never been to before in my entire life.
Wait, what are these places? You've been all over the world. You've been in every country just playing that bass guitar. What's the new place?
It wasn't 2020 because obviously, but it was
that 2019
before. Yeah, we went to India for the first time.
Wow. And people rolled out to see you in India?
We played one of the biggest audiences we've ever played in our entire lives. We played up in the mountains, and it was the craziest experience riding like in a convoy up through the mountains on these gravel and dirt roads with no guardrail, and we had a convoy with the lead car was like an SUV with 10 guys with AK-47s.
Wow.
I mean, it was something out of like a movie. Like we're going up,
gosh.
and then we get to the top of the hill, and this huge valley was there, and there was a crowd of like 100,000 people, right? With this stage built. Yeah, it was the most incredible, like one of the more memorable.
Oh my
crazy gosh. Like I felt like I was in a movie like Raiders of the Lost Ark or something. We're playing a concert. We also we went to Indonesia.
Yeah.
We've been there before, but like only in the last 5-6 years we've been to Indonesia a couple of times. And you realize what
music just moving you around the world.
Yeah, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you're realizing how big the world is, you know, when it takes you 24 hours of flight travel to get over there. Like we went to India.
But do you sit there after, talk about those 24 hours of flight, right? Do you get there after traveling for that great of distance from your home place, from where you make your music, arrive and sit there? Like, do you give yourself the time to sit back and truly, as like a human, a conscious thinking person, go, wow, we are this far from home. We're like 4 dudes making songs, and we have impacted all of these lives to the point of where thousands of people, thousands of miles from home, are here to see us and will sing along. Like, do you give yourself that
amazing.
time?
We do. You know, in fact, when we have those long trips like that, we only played one concert while we were in India, but it was a week of my life. To get there, it takes a couple of days. You acclimate for a couple of days. You play the gig, and then it takes a couple of days to get home.
Yeah.
So it's literally like a week of our lives to play one show. But when we're there, you know, they do the customary stuff, and, you know, they treat us well. They put us in a fine hotel and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But, you know, you wake up in the middle of the night, and you hear the chanting and the you know, ringings of, you know, you're like, okay, they're like putting out their rugs and praying to Allah right now, and like I am a fish out of water, you know.
Where am I?
Yeah, where am I?
Yeah.
And you know, again,
were they
obviously
singing along at the show?
Oh yeah. I don't know if they know what the words even mean, but they're singing along, you know.
Wow.
So, you know, we're blessed that the band still takes me to places where, you know, even it's not as exotic as India, but one of the few gigs we even played because of COVID, you know, shut the whole year down last year. But we had just come off the Monsters of Rock cruise,
right?
And you know, we've done a few of those cruise
talk
ship
Monsters
gigs.
of Rock cruise. Who's on that? Who are the bands on the Monsters of Rock?
All right,
where does it start? Where does it finish?
Like
lay that out.
Bands like there was a band called Kicks that was from Baltimore.
Kicks,
yeah. You know Kicks?
Yep.
There was Tom.
I had an older
Kiefer.
brother that's super deep into it, so I know more than I should about all of this. And enjoyed
guys
it.
Like you know, Tom Kiefer from Cinderella.
Yep.
You know the band Cinderella.
Of course.
Band called Tesla.
Yep.
You know, a lot
Tesla.
of So guys like Richie Kotzen was on the cruise. You know, there's sometimes like Steve Vai's been on some of the cruises. Steel Panther.
Yeah,
I did the Kiss cruise one time. That's when I get to.
That's when you get to spend all that time with Gene.
Yeah, all that time with Gene.
How about the rest of the band? Can we give them some? Were they all right?
Yeah, Paul Stanley's like
stand-up guy.
He's a class act.
Paul Stanley. Yeah,
awesome guy.
Yeah.
But you know,
that's what you did.
Like, you know, we get on the cruise ship and you're at sea for like a week, you know, and we get to go to cool places like Cancun or Cozumel, and you know the boat
still
just...
now like that 86 you'll call the start of this, is that accurate? 85?
86 I joined. 87 we got signed.
Okay, 86 to wherever we are now, it's like 2000, like maybe 20s 21. That's a long time, and you're still getting on cruise ships, traveling the world, making some music.
Yeah.
Again, I know you do, but just give yourself the time to be like, damn, who cares? This is all right, man. Look at this.
We're very fortunate to be able to make, a living making music.
Oh, yes.
I don't take it for granted.
There was some kind of fire at Universal Records and everything burned down, and they said that the Extreme whatever masters were gone, they're destroyed. Is that real, and did it impact you in any way?
It is real.
Okay.
I did hear that our masters were part of the
Universal Fires of 2008.
Some big warehouse, and they tried to cover it up or didn't tell anyone for a while.
Wow, some gangster move right there, Universal.
Yeah,
woo!
And so we're part of a class action suit to Still, I don't know that it's been worked on or settled or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's thousands of artists that, of course, some of the bigger bands will be the ones making the headlines. But at some point, there's supposed to be some, some sort of, what would be the word?
Retribution? Restitution? I don't know.
Something like that, right?
Let's not go beyond ourselves here.
There should be some compensation.
Yeah, some compensation for what went down.
Yeah.
With the flames and all that.
Yeah, and it's not like we don't have the mixes and we don't have the album, but if you ever want to do a remix, say, of an album or of a song,
she's been stripped away from you. It's gone.
You don't have the
real.
Yeah, you'd have to re-record something. It's not the same thing, right? That you sang. So if you ever want to remaster or remix or do a dance mix
you should be getting some
something,
checks, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. So I don't know how where it stands, but that is something where we were part of the class action suit where some of our shit got destroyed in that fire.
I'm just hearing the checks are coming. Do you ever get calls from other bands from your time to sit in on a tour and play bass with them? Have you done that kind of thing?
I haven't really done that kind of thing.
Is it not like of your interest? You're not like looking to do that, or never really thought about it?
I've been asked a couple of times and never been like, I was
busy. Who asked you and you shut them down?
I don't know if I really want to say.
Okay, don't say it then.
But there's been times where I've been like, if it fits in my schedule, like people have asked me, can you play on my album? And if I can do it in my own home studio and you send me the tracks and I don't have to travel somewhere, I go, yeah, sure, send me the tracks. I got this window of time to do it, you know? So sometimes it just depends on, it's not whether I, feel like, I'm above that person or anything like that. It's more like, if I have the time and if I'm interested in a project, then I'll do something for that.
What are you doing now musically? What's the main focus as far as live performance first?
So live performance has
outside
been,
of Extreme. Forget about Extreme.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit earlier about the Dark Desert Eagles.
What is that? The Dark Desert Eagles.
Dark Desert Eagles. On a dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair. It's an Eagles tribute band, right? Yes, it is. Yes. And so I had this crazy idea. I'm like, I'm not spending enough time on the road, or I'm not playing as much as I want to. Right. And so I said, wouldn't it be fun to do like a tribute band? Tribute things are like huge right now, right? Yeah. And I put together an Eagles tribute band just to have fun. Like I'm like, back to the egg, load in our own gear, go in a basement and play cover tunes of the music we grew up listening to and we love, right? Yep. So it all started with that, and then, it started with the idea of doing it, and then I had a meeting with Frank Simler. Hey, shout out to Frank Simler.
Hey, Frank, I don't know you, but I trust him. What up?
I had a dinner with him at the Old Black Cow. Yep. And we were talking about a couple of business ideas. And I said, Tuscan. I go, when I retire from Extreme someday, I have my Eagles tribute band. And he goes, his eyes lit up. He goes, Eagles
tribute
right
band?
Now. What an Eagles tribute band? I go, I don't know. I've always fantasized, Brad Delp used to have Beetlejuice. Well, they still play, but Brad Delp from Boston was the front man. I go, he kind of inspired me to want to.
The bass player lives here in town too, I think, Newburyport.
Yeah. So Brad, inspired me to do it, and I was like, I can sing those Eagles songs, and I grew up listening to that, catalog, and I've always played bass and extreme and sang background vocals, but this would give me an opportunity to sing lead vocals and play guitar.
Yes.
You know, and or at least rhythm guitar. And about a week after the conversation I had with him, it was before I had even like learned a note of Eagle stuff. About a week later, Glenn Fry died.
Oh golly, he's like, you got to do that.
I was kind of like, is this a sign? Now it's not that I want to do it. It's like I have to do it. So I put together a great band of guys, all local guys, some of Berkeley, Berkeley guys. And we quickly went from playing in the basement to, well, it took about a year to get the material together because it's you're rehearsing and everyone has their own lives and kids and whatever. And you're rehearsing like once a week, let's work on these 2 songs this week, these 2 songs the next week. It took a while to get the repertoire down.
Yeah, understandable.
And the first gig we played was at Newburyport Brewing, and you were part of that whole deal.
Like, whatever he's saying, the reality is, like, I'm not even an Eagles guy, or like maybe I am now. Like, I never even thought about it
Come on,
before.
you knew every song.
And I was like, not only did I know every song and I had no idea, but you guys slayed the songs. Like, it was the same thing. It was really good. Really good. I'm not trying to gas you up. Yeah. Like, I left there and I usually don't stay. I stayed the whole time.
Of course, it was one of our first gigs, so it's improved a lot. Put it that way, since that was our very first, coming out of the egg, right? So
understand, but it's really good.
Within like a year, we're now we were headlining like Hampton Beach Casino, like doing 2 nights.
See, so I'm not gassing you up. It's real.
It really took off, and we were playing gigs like down the South Shore Music Circus. We're doing the Cape Cod Melody Tent.
Yeah.
We're traveling out.
Did you do one of these drive-in kind of things over the COVID situation?
So the COVID thing shut the whole shit down.
Yeah, it's all over. So now you're driving performance, whatever that is.
We got an offer to do one of these drive-in gigs up in New Hampshire.
No,
it was in New Hampshire.
Tupelo, where?
It was like
you have a good memory.
It was like a fairgrounds.
Okay.
It was like at a fairgrounds. It was like the Topsfield Fair version of someplace up in New Hampshire. And it was one of the more unique live experiences I've ever had in my entire life because, well, let me preface it.
Now, a lot of times people say unique when they're trying to say, I really love it. I wasn't really into it. Is that true? You weren't really into it?
Of course, we go back to we don't know, you don't know what you got till it's gone.
Yeah.
So just the fact that I had a
not
gig
Wembley,
and it's not getting postponed or canceled or like every day it was like another phone call of, well, this one's getting pushed off for another 3 months, another 6 months, another year. This one's canceled altogether. You won't be down there. And so it's been a shit show of, as you know, I don't have to tell you, play music. Every venue's been shut down.
So, I know.
And so to have an offer and go, wow, I can actually go play music and we're gonna
happen.
Pull the cars in. I played to a bunch of headlights, but like people got out of their cars and they were like, had coolers and little like fold out chairs and shit like that. And it was actually fun because it was a time where we hadn't played in a while, and it was like, oh my God, thank God, just to even get to play. Of course, there was the disconnect of people being kind of far and like cars way off in the distance, but at least it was a feeling like, okay, people are honking their horns, and they're having fun, and like singing along.
I'm kind of with humans, which hasn't happened in a while.
Yeah, and that was fall, so we haven't had a gig since then. It's been like another drought, and I don't really see a close end in sight. I mean, there's like glimmers of hope of we have a Hampton Beach show, Hampton Beach Casino. I think it's April 17. They're talking about
might be outside.
They're talking about doing an outside stage. I've heard rumblings of that, but then again, I'm not counting on anything these days.
Yeah, see what goes down.
I realized the pinnacle of the disappointment.
Are you struggling mentally from this kind of thing? Are you like trauma? From like,
I'm finally over it. It was like that for a while.
Like, but are you over it? You're mad at it? Are you comfortable with it and having a good day?
Again, you try to redirect your your negativity into a positive direction and go, I can't be feeling like all bummed out about this. I can't be pissed that the show got canceled anymore. The shows will start happening when they start happening. I gotta like focus on like writing new music, playing. I learned a new instrument. I'm like just working on like.
He's gonna dangle that. What's the new instrument? You are just gonna dangle that. You don't want to tell us? It's
I'll
okay.
tell you. I bought a ukulele.
Oh,
you know, I'm a bass player.
Yeah.
And then I went to guitar, and I'm like, I want to go a little.
I like it.
And I'm enjoying the shit out of it. Like it's
like so much so that around the house they're like, dude, enough with the ukulele.
Well, no, in my studio it's a separate like
put that
practice
in
space.
The barn.
But I enjoy it because it's such a happy instrument. It sings and has like this feeling of positivity to it, and and it's another challenge where, as a guitar player, you know, you do your fingers in the shape of a D chord.
Yeah.
Well, on a ukulele, that's not a D chord.
Yeah, right. Accurate. I mean? Totally.
So you have to relearn every chord, and so it's a mental thing where a challenge where you're like, I got to deprogram everything I know about guitar, bass,
and then keep going. And it's back and forth from these instruments.
Yeah, then you go back and forth. I go, well, I'm not even going to learn that song on that instrument because then I'm going to be real confused when I go back to guitar. But I figured I'd take the time and like learn something new and do something that, you know, and, you know, back to the disappointment thing, it was like every other day another show gets canceled. Yeah. Another show, we're getting kicked the can. Oh, it's going to be 3 months from now. Oh, we can't do it now. It's going to be 6 months from now.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be next year. But the biggest disappointment last year, hands down, Extreme was supposed to play at Fenway Park, opening for Aerosmith, right? Aerosmith, yeah, it was supposed to be September. Aerosmith 50th anniversary show with Extreme opening. And
are you hearing this?
That was for me. That was the COVID dagger. The COVID dagger that like just like right in the heart, twisted around a few times, but it's gonna happen in 2021. They rescheduled the date. We're on it for like September 14th or something at Fenway. So I'll have that to look forward to.
That is great.
Yeah, just crazy.
Go see that.
So when we started, like when that one got canceled, it was like, okay, what can be canceled after this that can piss me off more than that, you know?
Yeah. Wow, well, I'm stoked to hear that is going to happen. And
supposedly.
Yeah, well, let's let the supposed become the realness.
Yeah, I've learned I'm conditioned now to have everything postponed or canceled. Yeah. So
Patrick, all the guests that I have on this show, they're here for two reasons, and we discussed this a little bit earlier. The first reason is that you've accomplished something that is completely exceptional, and you have created great success in your field, and I recognize that, and a whole lot of people do. It's incredible. And on the number two, the second part of this is that as a human, my experiences with you and the way other people describe their experiences with you are in line. You're a good dude. I talk to you. I like you. I'm not like, I got to play like cool guy, famous guy role. You're a straight up dude. I can look you in the eyes like I am right now and be like, this is a good human. I like you. So I'm here to tell you and to let you know that I respect you as a man and as a professional. I'm comfortable and confident to look at you as a grown man and be like, bro, for what it is worth coming from me, I'm proud of you, man. Great job. You've done a wonderful thing with your life. You're a good dude, and you've succeeded. I'm happy for you. Smell these roses while you're alive, because you don't have to wait to die to hear it from me.
It means a lot for you to say that to me, you know.
Yeah.
And honestly, like we talked about earlier, that shit means more to me than the gold and platinum records hanging on the wall and shit. If I know that people go, you know what, I can look you in the eye and I can tell you, and I know you're a good dude, right? That means more than all the other bullshit. You know, I can tell the stories and it's fun to reminisce about shit or still have pride and excitement to say that, hey, we are going to play at Fenway this year or whatever. But all this shit, at the end of the day, that shit's like fun and whatever, and I'm lucky, and I don't take it for granted. But at the end of the day, it's more about you just fucking made my day. I appreciate the words you just said, and I feel the same to you, man. I appreciate you asking me to come out and do this.
Thank you, man. You're a good dude. You want to play a game? Play a game? It's a quick game. It's real quick. It's real quick.
Is it a drinking game?
It's called Fast, Fun, and Not So Smart. It's going to be fast. It's going to be fun. And it's not so smart because you're not going to get all thought out with your answers. You're going to fire them out knowing that it's fast and fun. It's quick.
Can I go to the bathroom real quick? I'll be right back
sure.
you...
Yeah, if that's going to make you...
Because these tall boys...
Look at that. The Riverwalk beer has got them running out of the place.
I'll be right back. I'm going to go take my CoQ10.
Yeah, why? It's offering something. I'm certainly having a good time here today. What a good life it is. Thanks for tuning into the show. I'll keep doing this. Click the subscribe button. Do that, you beautiful person. Oh, we're over here. Thanks for watching. Yeah, I like you for that. Remember, use your body, stay active, stay healthy, stay happy. It's your life. Enjoy that thing, right? Come on now, boy. Push down the walls. Yeah. Oop, there he is.
I'm back. I gotta pull the curtain.
All the way over. Yeah, even though they know, it just somehow just is better. All right, so here's the game. It's fast, fun, and not so smart. It's quick. You are gonna love it. It's something. It's something, right? Here we go now. Fast, fun, and not so smart with Pat Badger of Extreme. Least favorite Extreme album of all time. It's fast. It's called Fast.
I know. That's a hard one, though. I'm sorry. Okay, Sadaj Darak.
What was it?
Sadaj Darak.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how well do you take care of your body?
6.
6. You have one meal left before you die. What is it that you're going to eat? Sushi, boy! You have to eliminate one state in the United States of America. What state is it?
New Mexico.
Ooh, who makes the best bass guitar?
Meridian.
Yeah, you can replace Nuno with any lead singer. Who would it be?
Nuno's not the lead singer.
I'm sorry.
A guitar player?
Yeah. No. Look at, wow. I could just turn it off right now. Gary, right?
If I could replace,
Paul?
Gary. Gary's the singer. Sammy Hagar.
After all the things I knew, that's what I do wrong. Sammy Hagar, here we go. Move along. Quickly, too, please. Yes or no, did you ever play a show so intoxicated that you don't remember it at all?
Never did.
Oh, the game just has to stop right now. When was the last time you ran 5 miles not on a treadmill?
Never.
Never?
I'm a bike guy.
What kind of,
I don't run.
With all the biking gear on, like the slim pants, the tights?
Oh, yeah.
You do that?
That's more what you're mountain doing? Bike. I bike. I don't run. Running hurts too much. I've never run 5 miles.
Mountain biking like in the trails or on the road?
I do both.
Okay.
Well, these days I do on the road because trails, I can't deal with a broken limb because playing ukulele with a broken arm doesn't happen. Right?
Oh, that game just kind of flopped, especially where I completely blew it. Well, on that note, thanks for being here today.
I had a blast, man. It's been great. We've had a lot of fun today.
We sure have. I really appreciate it.
You know what? We had fun before the show. Yeah. And I think we're probably going to have a little more fun after the show. Yeah. I
think I agree with this. So let's do, how do people get in touch with you, connect with you? Is there an Instagram that you push? Is there like a website? What's your thing?
Pat Badger Official on Instagram.
At Pat Badger Official.
Yeah, and then I have a Facebook Pat Badger thing.
Let's give some love to the Dark Desert Eagles
thing.
Is there a page
Dark
for that?
Desert Eagles
Is it at Dark Desert Eagles?
Yeah, there's an Instagram at Dark Desert Eagles, and then there's also a Facebook for Dark Desert Eagles and darkdeserteagles.com website.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You know what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, some processing.
I don't know. I can't keep all the passwords straight. So I'm the guy, I'm the guy updating that shit. So forgive me if
too much on the brain.
Yeah, forgive me if some of the shit's out of date because
it looks nice. I checked it all out. I was like, it's not too far behind here.
Yeah, I got so tired.
One man with a lot of plans. Yeah.
I got so tired of postponing the gigs or putting up, cancel, postpone.
Coming
Finally,
soon,
I'm like,
something.
I'm not even going to update the website anymore. When I know that there's dates, then they'll be up there.
People understand that. That's it. I feel good. You feel good? You ready to get out of here? Yeah.
No, I'm good, man. I can't wait to put on my new swag. I'm looking forward to those new shorts.
You look fantastic, man. I love you. Thanks for being here, Pat.
Thank you, Michael.
Oh, it's offering something. A whole lot of love to our sponsors. Enjoy Your Life Higher Education Music and Arts Festival in Riverwalk.
Cheers,
Brewing
Riverwalk
Company. Yeah, y'all. You are good people. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your life. Yeah.